Angel Garcia was born on March the 5th, 1992. His parents divorced at a young age, and Angel now lived with his mother Laura and sister Rose in Hartford, Connecticut. Over the years, the trio formed a strong bond. School was difficult for Garcia. He suffered from attention deficit disorder, and as such he wasn't the most punctual student and had fallen behind a couple of years. Despite this, he was determined to succeed and get his high school diploma. Angel did try medication for a while to help with his ADD. However, he didn't like the way it made him feel, so eventually he stopped taking it. In 2010, Garcia met a woman on Facebook called Amira Serrano. The relationship blossomed quickly, and before long she had moved in with Angel and his family. Amira had a 2-year-old son from a previous relationship, who Angel immediately got on well with. The new living arrangement inspired him to start cooking more, and he would often enjoy to prepare dinner for the entire family. In September 2011, Angel got a red Honda dirt bike, which was his pride and joy. He told his mother that his father had given him the money to purchase it, and he spent almost every day with it, washing it and driving it along trails and the streets of Hartford. Ultimately, however, it would be one of these excursions that Angel Garcia would disappear from. On Friday, October the 21st, 2011, Laura woke to go to work and saw that Angel was still sleeping. She left the house assuming he would get himself up for school. However, he had other plans that day. Around 10:30 a.m, Angel went to see his friend Joel. The pair went to Joel's uncle's house, as it had a field behind it that Angel could use his dirt bike on. The pair rode for a couple of hours, Garcia on his bike and Joel on the ATV. When the ATV ran out of gas, Joel decided to call it a day, and the pair pushed it back to Joel's uncle's house. Angel, however, wanted to keep riding. He told Joel he was going to continue riding in East Hartford. At around 1 p.m, Garcia left. This would be the last time anyone would see Angel. When evening came around and Angel still wasn't home, Laura started to get worried. At around 9:30 p.m, Laura reluctantly went to bed, as she had work the next day. Although concerned, she expected Angel would come home sometime during the night. However, this didn't happen, and Laura and Amira would both instead be woken in the middle of the night by loud yelling. Laura said the voice sounded like Angel, and that the voice said, "Go ahead, break it." The two ran out to the front porch, but by the time they were outside, they didn't see anything. Laura at this point was now more concerned than she was previously, and questioned Amira if she had heard from Angel, or if she knew of his whereabouts. Amira said she hadn't heard from him since 11 a.m, when he was at Joel's uncle's house. He told her he didn't have much service there and would call her later, but he never did. Laura couldn't go back to bed after this, so she started calling anyone she thought would know where Angel was. It was unlike him to be out of touch for this long, and also not to answer his cell phone. 12 hours later, at 6 p.m, she reported her son missing. A patrol officer responded and took a missing persons report. Amira told the officer that the last person to see Angel was his friend Joel. The officers immediately followed up on this lead, paying Joel a visit. He explained that his friend left to ride the trails behind a row of car dealerships in East Hartford. When officers asked him why he hadn't also gone, he explained that he had errands to do that afternoon. Besides, he didn't like to ride over the Connecticut River. It was risky to ride into East Hartford. There were only two options: ride on the bridges in traffic or ride over the railroad tracks. There are two road bridges that span the Connecticut River, both of which contain busy highway traffic. The only other option Angel would have to cross the river would be to drive over the train trestle, which many dirt bike riders and ATV drivers often did. This led investigators to theorize that Angel may have had an accident on his bike and fallen from the railroad bridge into the river. Following up on Joel's story, investigators scoured CCTV footage from businesses, including the dealerships in the area he was planning on riding behind. There was no sign of Angel on any of the surveillance cameras from any nearby businesses. Had Garcia opted to get there via the tracks, there were concerns he could have had an accident and possibly even fell in the river. Nothing, however, had washed ashore, and as there was no surveillance cameras on the tracks, there was no proof he'd taken this route. Next, the police wanted to see if Angel's phone was still on, so they could check the last cell phone ping. Cell phone records confirmed his last call was with Amira on the morning of October the 21st. However, what investigators would learn next would leave them confused. His cell phone pinged at 3:28 p.m. near Joel's home. This was over 2 hours after Angel had supposedly left. This led to a search of Joel's uncle's property and the area surrounding the cell tower. It consisted of detectives, Angel's friends and family, and other specialised units. The search didn't turn up anything: no cell phone, no wallet, no bike, nothing. With the search of Joel's uncle's property leading to a dead end, investigators were back to square one and needed someone to come forward with new information to help the case, and just a few days later, someone did. A friend of Angel's named Josh came forward to police. According to Josh, the night before Angel disappeared, the pair were out riding in the area of Trinity College when a tan Jeep Cherokee made a U-turn and started chasing them. Angel had gotten away, so the Jeep had circled back to Josh, where the driver and the occupant, two white men with blonde hair, asked about Angel. This worried investigators. Maybe foul play could have been involved. This wouldn't be the only bombshell though. The man shared that Angel's dirt bike had actually been stolen. Angel and Joel were the ones who had stolen it. Angel had found the bike on Craigslist a month earlier and had set about a plan to steal it. He recruited Joel and a third friend, and he met the sellers at their home. He asked if he could take the bike for a test drive, and the owners agreed. Once he had the bike, Joel and the other friend were waiting in the car around the corner and helped Angel load the bike into the car. Laura found this information hard to take, as this wasn't how she'd raised him. She'd always taught Angel never to steal. The police went to speak to the original owners, a 15-year-old and his stepdad, and told them about Angel's disappearance. The police eventually ruled them out as they didn't match the description of the men in the Jeep, and they didn't own a Jeep. With another lead hitting a dead end, investigators decided to circle back to Joel. Something wasn't sitting right with them. He was taken to the station, this time to be questioned more thoroughly. Joel's story remained the same, and he didn't waver. The police asked Joel to show them on a map where they would go riding. Joel agreed but seemed uncomfortable and fidgety. The police also wanted to see how Joel would act if they took him to the railroad tracks where Angel would ride on. Joel cooperated, After this, police eventually believed he was telling the truth, and he was finally ruled out as a suspect in his friend's disappearance. The police got excited when they received a tip that Garcia was seen riding with a friend called Anthony at around 5 p.m. on the day he disappeared. This piqued their interest as they were working on the assumption he was last seen at 1 p.m. at Joel's. Anthony was brought in for questioning. To their disappointment, he said he had in fact rode bikes with Angel, but this was the day before. He was with his girlfriend by 5 p.m. on Friday. The police contacted Anthony's girlfriend, who had a slightly different story. She said they were together on Friday and had been out all night. Anthony had originally said that he went home early. The police confronted him, but he said he lied because he had a curfew due to a court order. The police followed this up and he was ruled out as a suspect. The final lead in the case came in January of 2012. A convenience store clerk in New Britain, Connecticut, 15 miles from Hartford, called police to say Angel had visited the store. She claimed to have recognised him from a flyer. When Laura saw the footage, she said it really did look like Angel. Within a week, the same clerk called and said that the man was back in her store. She said this time she was able to get a partial license plate number. The police also decided to do surveillance at and near the convenience store. A few days later, they were shocked when they saw the man walking down the street. The man really did look like Angel, but it was not him. His name was Nelson. In October 2020, Laura and other loved ones planted a tree at a local park as a way to mark what happened 9 years prior. At the time, Laura said, "This is hope. The tree planting means there is hope. Never give up. There is always that possibility that he could still be alive." Numerous tips and leads have come in over the years, and investigators have followed up on all of them, but ultimately they have led nowhere. As of 2023, Angel Garcia remains missing.